Before we start this next chapter, I just want to acknowledge something. Everything in my first arc was about waking up, not fixing yourself, not becoming somebody else, just seeing clearly for the first time. The patterns, the noise, the overthinking and the pressure, even the performance. A lot of those videos were about understanding why you feel the way that you do, why your mind loops, why you keep repeating certain cycles, and why silence feels uncomfortable. It also talks about why you can feel disconnected from yourself without even realizing it. And awareness matters because you can't change a pattern you can't see. But eventually awareness alone stops being enough. You can understand yourself deeply, but you can still stay stuck. So this next arc is different. This chapter is about integration. Not just about seeing the noise, but learning how to move through life without being controlled by it. How to trust yourself again. How to create peace without escaping life. How to stop performing constantly. And how to build something real underneath all of that thinking. So this is less theory and more about embodiment. Less surviving inside your mind, more living inside your life. Because the goal was never to become perfect. The goal was to remember who you were before all of that fear became your personality. So there's a moment in every important conversation. The other person says something or doesn't say something, and you feel it. The shift, the vulnerability, the real thing finally showing up. And in that exact moment, your body acts before your mind does. Tightness in your chest, heat in your face, a sudden urge to check your phone, change the subject, make a joke, or even just walk out and leave the room. But you're still in that room. Your mouth might still be moving, but that part of you that has something honest to say, it shuts down, hands the wheel to something else, a performance, a defense, a script. And later, alone, you replay it. You feel the weight of what you didn't say. You rehearse the conversation you wish you'd had. You promise yourself, next time I'll be different. But next time comes, and your body does the exact same thing. So today I want to talk about why. Not the surface level why. Not you're afraid of conflicts or that you have attachment issues, though those might be true. And therapy may have helped you name them. I want to actually talk about the machinery. What happens in your nervous system in the exact second when connection becomes possible. Because your body's learned a reflex, and that reflex doesn't want connection. It just wants predictability. Connection itself is unpredictable. So when things get real, your body shuts down. And I'm going to show you now how to interrupt it. I've talked about the inner script before in my previous videos. That running commentary on everything that you do. But in relationships, the script isn't just narrating, it's protecting you. And what it protects most fiercely is your image, the story you tell yourself about who you need to be for people to stay. Think about the last time you shut down. Someone asked you how you really felt. They challenged something that you said. They got quiet and the silence felt unbearable. What happened in your body right before you went blank? That isn't you being awkward. That is just your nervous system detecting a threat. And the threat isn't the other person. The threat's the exposure. Because the moment things get real, your body has to answer a dangerous question. If I say what I actually feel, will they still want me? and your body doesn't know the answer. It can rehearse a response to something it hasn't heard yet, but it can't control the outcome. So it does the only thing it knows how to do. It gives you the safe lines, the deflections, the half-truths, the strategic silences, the performance of someone who doesn't care too much, need too much, and feel too much. And you, the real you, the you that's standing behind that glass shield, is wondering why you can never just be there. So first of all, we have to understand why exposure feels like death. It's not because you're weak, and it's not because you lack that courage. It's because at some point, being real cost you something. You were honest about how you felt, and someone might have laughed at you, or even walked away, or possibly even used it against you later. You showed vulnerability, and the people who were supposed to protect you couldn't handle it. So your nervous system learned, my real self must be too much. My real self is a burden. My real self needs to be managed. And it wrote a new rule at that stage. Never let them see the part that might make them leave. So you built a shield, a version of you that is acceptable, manageable, and safe. And that shield works. It keeps people around. It gets you through the conversations. And most of all, it protects you from rejection. But what it also does is it keeps you invisible. The people who love you don't actually know the real you. They only know the performance. So ultimately, they know the script. They know the version of you that shuts down when things get real. And the cruel part, you can feel it. You can feel that distance. You can feel the loneliness of being surrounded by people who don't actually see you, because you're not there. The mistake we all make is thinking we need to become someone else to stay open. We think, I need to be more confident, and I definitely need to be less anxious. I need to heal my attachment style, then I'll be able to show up. But you don't need to be healed to be present. You don't need to be fixed to be real. The goal isn't to become someone who never shuts down. The goal is to notice the shutdown happening and choose to stay anyway. Because here's what nobody tells you. The shutdown isn't a character flaw. And it's like any reflex, it can actually be interrupted. Not by willpower and not by positive thinking, but by awareness. The moment you feel the tightness in your chest, the urge to deflect, the blankness descending, that's your signal, not your failure, your signal. And in that signal, there is a choice. So in this video, I'm not going to ask you to meditate, and I'm certainly not going to ask you to journal or do therapy or fix yourself. All I want you to do is perform a manual override of the machinery right now. So wherever you are, I want you to think about the last conversation where you shut down, where you went blank, where you said something safe instead of something true. Now your narrator is probably already saying, well, that wasn't my fault. They were being difficult. I did my best. Or it's saying something like, well, maybe I'm just like this. I'll never change. What I want you to do is notice that. That's just the script trying to protect the shield. It's trying to keep the story intact so it doesn't have to feel the discomfort of what really happened. I don't want you to argue with it, but I just want you to notice it. Now I want you to go back to that moment. Not the whole conversation, just the moment right before you shut down. What did you feel in your body? Was it the tightness, the heat, the blankness, or even the urge to escape? Don't put a name on it and certainly don't analyze it. Just feel it. Now, here is the crucial part. I want you to ask yourself, what did I actually want to say? Not the perfect response and not that clever comeback. Not the thing that would have won the argument or saved that relationship. Just the honest thing and the real thing. You know, the sentence that was forming in you before that script just completely killed it. Maybe it was, I'm scared. Maybe it was, that hurt me. It might have even been, I don't know. Maybe it was, I need you. Whatever it was, just feel the weight of it now and feel the vulnerability of it, the exposure. And notice, you're actually still here. The shield didn't protect you from anything real. All it did was protect you from being seen. And being seen even in your fear, your need, your uncertainty. Is the only way to know if someone wants you? Or do they just want the performance? So now I want you to notice what just happened. The narrator didn't die. It probably said, but if I say that, they'll leave and they'll judge me. They might even use it against me. But what I want you to understand is that's just the script protecting the contract. But for a moment, maybe only even a second, you created the gap. And in that gap, the shield dropped, the performance paused, and you were just there. With your fear, with your need, with your honesty. And that is not a weakness. That's the only real strength there is. Because the people who matter, they don't want your performance. They want you. They don't want the polished version and not the managed version. Not the version that shuts down when things get real. Just you. And freedom isn't having no fear. Freedom is all about feeling that fear, the tightness, the blankness, the urge to run. And then it's up to you to say, well, I see you and I'm staying here anyway. Most of us are Velcro for our shields. A moment of vulnerability comes by and we stick to protection. This particular practice is about becoming Teflon. The script still runs, it just doesn't get to close you down. So how do you use this when this video ends? When you feel the shutdown happening in real time? Don't fight it, and certainly don't force yourself to be open. Just notice the tightness and name it silently. This is the shield. That awareness alone creates a crack. When someone asks you how you really feel, take a breath before you answer. Not to rehearse the safe response, but to actually feel what's there. And then say the truest thing you can, even if it is, I don't know yet. When the silence feels unbearable, just stay within it. The script will scream as you try to fill it. But the silence is where you actually learn if the other person can meet you. And this is the point where you let them. So when you replay a conversation later and feel the weight of what you didn't say, don't rehearse the perfect version. Just feel the loss, but also let it teach you what matters. Then carry that into the next conversation when you're afraid of the real you being too much. Remember, the people who left because of your honesty, they were never meant to stay. The people who stay because of it are the only ones that actually matter. So in recap, you don't need to be fixed to be seen. You don't need to be healed to be honest. You don't need to be confident to be present. You don't need to have your attachment style sorted before you're allowed to say what you feel. The shield was built to protect you, but it's been protecting you from the wrong thing. It's been protecting you from connection, from intimacy, from the only thing that makes relationships real. And the cost of it all is that you're probably lonely in a room full of people who love that performance. The real you, the one that gets shut down, the one that gets scared, the one that doesn't know what to say, that you is absolutely enough. It's more than enough even. That you is the only one that can actually love. So stop living in the narration. The real thing, the conversation, the connection, the courage to be seen is so much better, and it's waiting for you. So if that manual override works for you, even for 5 seconds, I'd love it if you let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to hear what you wanted to say when the shield dropped. And if this hits something for you, you can find me on my socials, Craig Lewis Life Coach. Like this video and share it with someone who goes quiet when things get real. And remember the most important message: you don't need to be perfect to be present.